It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
What is the planning steps if you know you have a job change coming up, or maybe you just want to take inventory of how good is my current plan? Right. You know, you guys keep talking about things with institutional funds, diversification. I need to figure out what's going on with my own retirement plan so I can make the right steps. So the first thing, a lot of this, I'm always surprised at how few people, they're so worried about all the different benefits and variables with their employer, but very rarely, and I can tell you even when I interview people, I don't have a lot of people ask me, well, talk to me about the retirement plan.
No, it just
it just doesn't come up as much as I want you to make this more of a priority instead of an afterthought. That's the first step, because having access to a good retirement vehicle is going to be a driving factor on, are you going to reach financial independence? Right. You know, when we give the guidance of saving 15 to 20%, we tell people, include your retirement plan in that calculation. And if you have, we have employers that are so generous. Mm-hmm. We have employers that you put in 5, they're going to add another 10 on top of it, so you're doing 15. That stuff comes into play. So make sure you understand what's going on and apply the appropriate weight to that decision-making process when you're going through here. But a lot of you are probably watching going, well, what about tools? You talked about the investment. You talked about, diversification. Are there some tools out there so I can use? You've already mentioned one. You said Morningstar.com, Yahoo Finance. Those are websites. You can go and research the underlying investments. There's also some new tools out there. Brightscope. If you go, and we're going to have a link on the website at moneyguy.com, but it's brightscope.com/ratings, where you can go in, and it doesn't matter how big or how small your plan is. You type in your employer, and here's what's cool. If it's a bigger plan for like a Fortune 500, they're going to have an actual customized rating system and let you get kind of a scorecard of how good your retirement plan is with Brightscope. If you work for a small employer, it's at least going to have some really interesting data because they go and they pull down the annual disclosure requirement, the filing form 5500 that employers are required to file once their retirement plan's over a certain size. And you'll be able to see the plan size, the number of participants, and the average account balance. If anything, it's going to let you see, am I doing more than my coworkers? Am I behind? It will give you a lot of information that I think you'll find quite interesting, as well as let you kind of have a barometer on how good you're doing with your own savings. Right. So measure your current plan, measure the future opportunity when you're interviewing for a new job, but all this is going to be helpful in making sure that you are maximizing your retirement plan, and trying to figure out the consolidation of those retirement strategies. And then don't forget, if you are doing some unique strategies like the backdoor Roth IRA contributions, all that stuff has to come into play. Now, a number of you're going to come back to this video because you're going to go do all this research, and then you're going to be like, oh no.
My plan's not any good.
It's not any good. I've got a plan that's horrible. And this is the portion of the show that we're going to help you figure out what to do when you have a stinker. Because there are going to be a number of you that have bad plans. So there's still, and it's probably, I will go ahead and tell you, it's getting better. Technology is making things much better. But it's usually employers that have assets less than $3 million. Don't you find that's the case, Bo?
Smaller businesses, smaller workforce. It's just the sales force that services those types of plans don't always have the best solutions, lowest cost products, and that sort of thing available.
But that doesn't mean you're trapped.
No,
here's the planning steps. Make sure if you are in a bad plan, you determine you're in a bad plan, take advantage of the free money. How often do we talk about at retirement meetings? That really is free money. With smaller plans, it's probably 100% vested if it's a safe harbor or a simple IRA. Usually that money is yours from the day it hits the account. So take advantage of that free money. If you're not taking advantage of your employer's match, you are definitely leaving money on the table and probably walking away from a 50 to 100% guaranteed rate of return.
Yeah, it's pretty easy math. Even if you had an egregiously expensive plan that cost you 5% annually, but your employer offers a dollar for dollar match,
you got to do it.
You're still making 95%. You have to do it.
So love the one you're with. Take advantage of the free money. And then after you take advantage of the free money, if you're in a bad plan, maybe that's when you start thinking about, how do I allocate my money elsewhere? Like you want to maximize a Roth IRA or assets outside of your employer plan.
Sure.
And then here's the other thing. You don't have to take this without taking a proactive stance. why not lobby your employer? We've actually picked up a retirement plan from a podcast listener.
I'm glad I was going to share the same story.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in our show notes, but it just made me think of it because we have had experience where a podcast listener hears all of our advice and goes, wait a minute, why don't I get the Money Guy team to come in and help out with ours? And we've been able to lobby a company into creating a better experience for their employees. So we want to give you some tips. First thing, if you go to moneyguy.com, we're going to give you a link. Boggleheads, I thought it was, they have a whole wiki section and they have a way for you to lobby and they give you advice on how to lobby for a better retirement plan. And they even give you a template of a letter you can give to your employer, which I thought was great. It was pretty, but here's some things because I always say flies instead of bees, but you collect a lot more with honey.
I feel like the Dale Carnegie's coming out of you right now, right? Is that what it is?
So we won't even go down that road, but just know the first thing is don't be confrontational. You're not going to get anybody, because that is definitely a Dale Carnegie thing, but I am messing it up because I just don't do those colloquialisms or whatever.
I think you attract more flies with honey than vinegar. I think, or something in that line.
Or it could be poop and flies. Somehow it's all tied in there. But do not be confrontational when you're trying to get something out of your employers. Express concerns about the welfare of the employees because you're trying to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to build sufficient assets for that financial independence. And then here's the thing. You want to really get them to perk up? Mention that, hey, you're concerned. You know that the rules and laws have been evolving and people are starting to realize that maybe retirement plans aren't doing everything they should for employees. So you're worried about the liability this might create for the employers because it is, I will tell you guys, I hope you know, 401ks, now I'm getting old so it seems like that wasn't that long ago, but they've only been around since the 80s.
Okay.
So this thing has been a big experiment that was started in the 80s where people got away from pension plans and they've gone to these defined contribution plans like a 401k. We're only now starting to see all the people actually retiring and the fruits of switching from a pension to these contribution plans that I think the laws have changed to where now you have more fiduciary obligations. You have to show that you're doing some type of due diligence to get the better investment options of these 401ks. So it is ripe for the picking that your employer should be thinking about these things. And you might be doing your employer a big favor if you make sure you bring this forward because they might have just gotten sold this plan on a golf course years ago and nobody has paid any attention to it, that they would actually, you'd be doing them a favor if you bring to their attention that the world has gotten a lot better. Costs have gone down substantially with investing. Why not lobby and see if you can create a better plan? So go to moneyguy.com. We're going to have a link to that template letter that you could do. And start the process of lobbying for a better 401k. And this goes back to kind of close out the show, Bo. 401ks and retirement plans really are the frontline tools that you're going to use for your army of dollar bills. This is where the lion's share of your retirement assets are going to come from because they're going to be either in a tax-deferred account through a traditional measure or they're going to be Roth assets because the employer offers that. So you need to make sure that you, as you mentioned, I love that you started the show with this, that no soldier is left behind. You want to make sure that you are being a very good leader and field general so that every dollar is working for you, working as hard as you work for your own money. So get out there and create a vision plan for what you want that retirement to look like, and then make sure you're maximizing every dollar that is saving and working for you so that you can have that retirement that I know you're excited about. And if you feel like you've already given a teaser about this too, Bo, if you feel like this decision, because here's what we've noticed in the cycle of abundance is that when you have $20,000 saved up and you have, shifts in the market, you lose 10%, you lose 20% or something. You're like, okay, well, that's all right. I'm working. I still have more time and it's unfortunate. And that cost me, $2,000, cost me $4,000.
That's right.
But something happens when those assets become $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $1 million, $2 million. Now when you have a 10% setback, especially when you're 5 years from retirement, you start realizing, oh my goodness, I'm dealing with an enterprise here. I mean, my assets have reached a level that the weight of the decisions are heavy.
Yeah.
So you're looking to make sure you're doing things right. 'Cause remember I said measure twice, cut once. What if you don't know what to measure? There's no doubt that creating a plan and having a professional can make things easier. It can give you the peace of mind. So if you're looking to take the relationship to the next level, We work with clients in 37 states because of this show that we've been doing for over 13 years now. We'd love for you to come work with the Money Guy family. You can go to moneyguy.com. You can go to aboundwealth.com. But this is something, hopefully you can recognize there's something different about the way we do this show. We call it the abundance cycle, where we want you to come in. We want you to learn, absorb, apply this to your own finances. But when you get to the graduation point that it gets to where you're worried that this is just too big for you, give us a shot. That's the abundance cycle. That's why we give it away. We have never been hurt by being as generous as possible, by not creating an infomercial, but actually giving you guys actionable data and information that you can use. So I'm your host. Look out for the new content that's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be out there in all the ways that you digest this. It's a new year in 2018, and we can't wait to see what happens. I'm your host, Brian Preston, co-host Bo Hanson. We'll talk to you soon.